to one and all gathered here. Today I am going to discuss about the concept of the data mining. First, the definition of the data mining. Today I am going to discuss about the definition of data mining. First the definition. Then what do you mean by knowledge discovery in databases? Knowledge discovery in databases. Before that, what are the different meaning to data mining? What are the different meaning to data mining? Then the third one, the knowledge discovery in databases. The next one, the architecture of data mining. The architecture of data mining. The architecture of data mining. The next one, the store. What are the different kinds of store? What are the different kinds of data store that the data mining can be performed? Okay, the different kinds of stores. The next one, the data mining functionalities. The data mining functionalities mean what kinds of pattern we are going to mine. What kinds of pattern we are going to mine, that is called as the data mining functionalities. The last one, the classification of data mining. The classification of data mining. The last one, pre-processing, data pre-processing. Okay, the data pre-processing means we are going to clean and we are going to integrate the data. Then we are going to clean the data, integrate the data, then the data transformation, discretization and concept hierarchy is done in the data pre-processing. Okay, the first one, the definition of data mining. Okay, but what is the definition of the data mining? We are going to mine or extracting the knowledge from a large amount of data. Either it can be stored in the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository is called as the data mining. Okay, we are going to mine or extracting the knowledge from a large amount of data that can be stored in the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository is called as the data mining. For example, the gold mining. For the example is the gold mining. How we are going to mine the gold? We are going to mining the gold from the rock or sand. Okay, we are going to mine the gold from the rock or sand is called as the gold mining. Okay, that is the example for the gold mining. What do you mean by data mining? We are going to extracting or mining the knowledge from a large amount of data that can be stored in the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository is called as the data mining. Then what are the different meaning to data mining? Okay, the different meaning, the first one, the different meaning. The first one, the knowledge extraction. It's called as the knowledge extraction. The knowledge extraction from the databases. The second one, the knowledge mining. Okay, we are going to mine the knowledge from knowledge extraction or knowledge mining. The next one, knowledge mining. Then the third one, the data or the pattern analysis. The data or the pattern analysis. The fourth one, data dredging, DRE dredging. Okay, the data dredging means data searching. The last one, the data archaeology. Archaeology. Okay, the data archaeology means we are going to study about the past human societies. Okay, these are the different meaning. Okay, it can be the different meaning. That is, the data mining means the knowledge extraction from the databases or the knowledge mining from the databases, or it is called as the data or the pattern analysis. We are going to find the interesting pattern, that is called as the data or the pattern analysis. The fourth one is the data dredging. Okay, the data dredging means the data searching. The last one is the data archaeology. The data archaeology means it is also one of the technique of mining, that we are going to study about the past human societies. Okay, that is called as the data archaeology. So, what is the definition of data mining? Then, what is the example of data mining? What are the different meaning to data mining? The next one, the knowledge discovery in databases. The knowledge discovery in databases. Okay, the knowledge discovery in databases. In the knowledge discovery in databases, the data mining is one of the step in the knowledge discovery in databases. The term data mining is becoming more popular than the knowledge discovery in databases. So we are called as the steps of the data mining. Okay, but the knowledge discovery in databases, the data mining is one of the step in the knowledge discovery in databases. The term data mining is becoming more popular than the knowledge discovery in databases. Okay, then the steps in knowledge discovery in databases is the databases. then data warehouse, the next one data mining, the next one patterns, different patterns, the next one the knowledge representation or the visualization. Databases, here we are going to clean and integrate the data cleaning and data integration, data cleaning and data integration, then data selection and transformation, data selection and transformation. Here the pattern, it's called as the pattern. Here we are going to evaluate the pattern evaluation and knowledge representation. Knowledge, here we are going to visualize the pattern in the different form. Visualize the pattern. These are the steps in the knowledge discovery in databases. The first step, that the data cleaning. The second is the data integration may be performed on the databases and the data warehouses. Then we have to select and transformation. Data mining steps can be applied. Then pattern evaluation and knowledge representation. Then we are going to visualize the pattern in the different user. We are going to visualize the pattern in the different user. The first one, the data cleaning. Here the data cleaning, we are going to remove the noisy and inconsistent data. We are going to remove the noisy and inconsistent data that may be performed on the databases. Then data integration, we are going to integrate the multiple sources. Okay, the multiple sources may be the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository. Data cleaning means we are going to remove the noisy and inconsistent data. Then the data integration, the multiple data sources may be combined. Okay, the multiple data sources may be combined in the data integration. Then the data selection, okay, the data relevant to the analysis task may be performed on the data. Then the data transformation, we are going to transform one form into another form for the purpose of the aggregating function. We are going to use the transformation. Then with the pattern evaluation, here the pattern evaluation, we are going to evaluate the interestingness of the pattern. We are going to evaluate the interestingness of the pattern. Then the knowledge presentation, okay, it can be used to visualize the pattern in the different form. Okay, we are going to visualize the pattern in the different form means we can visualize the different pattern as a we are going to visualize the pattern as a bar chart, pie chart, or the histogram. Okay, here the data mining. Okay, the first one is the data cleaning, the data integration, data selection, data transformation, the data mining. Okay, what is the purpose of the data mining? For the purpose of extracting or mining the interesting pattern. That's why we are going to use the data mining. Then we are going to evaluate the interestingness of the pattern. The last one, visualize the pattern or the knowledge presentation. We are going to visualize the pattern or we are going to visualize the pattern in the different form to the user. Okay, these are the steps in knowledge discovery in databases. The first step, the data cleaning, the data integration, the data selection, data transformation, data mining, pattern evaluation. The last one is the knowledge representation. Okay, we are going to visualize. First we are going to clean the data, then integration. Okay, we are going to integrate the multiple sources. The multiple sources may be the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository. Then we are going to select the relevant data. Okay, for the purpose of the analysis task, we are going to select the relevant data. Then the transformation. Okay, we are going to convert from one form into another form for the purpose of the aggregating function. Then pattern evaluation. The last one is the knowledge presentation. We are going to visualize the pattern to the user in the different form. Okay, the form may be the pie chart, bar chart, or the histogram. So we already completed the data mining. Then what is the example for the data mining? What are the different meaning to data mining? Then knowledge discovery in databases. Okay, the knowledge discovery in databases. In the knowledge discovery in databases, the data mining is one of the step in the knowledge discovery in databases. Okay, the term data mining is becoming more popular than the knowledge discovery in databases. Okay, the next one, the architecture of data mining. The first one, the databases. Then data warehouses. It can be connected to the database or the data warehouse server. The data cleaning, and integration. The data cleaning and integration may be performed on the databases. Data cleaning and integration. Data cleaning and integration. Here we are going to filtering the data warehouses. Filtering. Databases, data warehouse. It's called as the database or the data warehouse server. Then the next one is the data mining engine. Data mining engine. The next one, the pattern evaluation. The pattern evaluation. Pattern evaluation. The pattern evaluation. The last one, the graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. Here is called as the knowledge base. It is used to guide the search. Knowledge base. This is the architecture of data mining. Architecture of data mining. Okay, the architecture of the data mining, the databases or the data warehouse, the databases can be databases, and the data warehouses can be connected to the database or the data warehouse server. Okay, what do you mean by database or the data warehouse server? We are going to fetch the relevant data. Okay, the purpose of the database or the data warehouse server is used to search the relevant data based on the data mining request. Okay, about the database or the data warehouse server, it is used to search the relevant data based on the data mining request. Here the data cleaning and data integration may be performed on the databases and the data warehouses. What do you mean data cleaning? Here the data cleaning, we are going to remove the noisy and inconsistent data that is represented in the databases. Then what do you mean by integration? The integration means it may be, okay, we are going to combine the multiple sources. We are going to integration, we are going to integrate the different sources, okay, that can be done in the, okay, the databases. Okay, the data cleaning, we are going to clean or remove the noisy and inconsistent data. Here the data integration, we are going to combine the multiple sources. Okay, what do you mean combine the multiple sources? That can be stored in either in the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository. Okay, it is called as the information repository. Information repository. Information repository. Here the database, what is the use of the database or the data warehouse server? What the database, it is used to the database server, okay, to fetch the relevant data. Database or the data warehouse server, the purpose of the database or the data warehouse service is to fetch the relevant data based on the data mining request. Okay, the next one is the data mining engine. Here the data mining engine, the set of functional modules. Okay, the set of functional modules is done on the data mining engine. Okay, what do you mean by functional module? That the functionalities of the data mining. Characterization, then discrimination, association analysis, cluster analysis, deviation analysis, the last one is the outlier analysis. Okay, these analysis are done on the data mining engine. Okay, but the data mining engine means, okay, the set of functional module. Okay, we are going to characterize the data, then discrimination, association analysis, cluster analysis, deviation analysis, and the outlier analysis may be performed on the data. Okay, we are going to discuss about the next topic for the data. These are called as the data mining functionalities. Okay, what is the purpose of the data mining? The set of functional modules or the set of functional modules done on the, okay, the data mining engine. Then the pattern evaluation. Okay, here the pattern evaluation we already discussed. We are going to evaluate the interestingness of the pattern. Okay, we are going to evaluate the interestingness of the pattern based on some interesting measures. Then the knowledge base. Okay, what the pattern evaluation? We are going to evaluate the interestingness of the pattern based on some interestingness measure. But in the knowledge base, we are going to evaluate the interestingness of the resulting pattern. Okay, but the purpose of the knowledge base is used to guide the search. Okay, it is used to guide the search, and the difference between the pattern evaluation and the knowledge base, here the pattern evaluation, we are going to evaluate only the interestingness of the pattern based on some interestingness measure, but in the knowledge base we are going to evaluate the interestingness of the resulting pattern. The last one is the graphical user interface. Okay, we are going to browse. Okay, we are going to browse the databases or the data warehouses for the purpose of evaluating the interestingness pattern and also visualize the pattern in the different form using the graphical user interface. Okay, these are the architecture of data mining. Okay, the first one is the information repository. The second one, the database or the data warehouse server. The next one is the data mining engine. Here the data mining engine, the set of functional module is done on the data mining engine. Then the pattern evaluation, we are going to evaluate the interestingness of the pattern based on some interestingness measure. Then the knowledge base, the purpose of the knowledge base is used to guide the search, or we are going to evaluate the interestingness of the resulting pattern. The last one, the graphical user interface. Based on the graphical user interface, we are going to evaluate the pattern and also we are going to visualize the pattern in the different form based on the graphical user interface. For the purpose of, okay, first we have to, the user can browse the databases or the data warehouses for the purpose of evaluating the interestingness pattern and also visualize the pattern in the different form. Okay, this is the architecture of data mining. The next one, the kinds of data store. Okay, the kinds of data store that the data mining can be performed. Okay, there are different kinds of data store. Okay, the first one, the relational databases. What kinds of data store that the data mining can be performed? The first one is the relational databases. Relational databases. Relational database. The second one, data warehouse. The third one, the transactional databases. Transactional databases. The fourth one, advanced database application. Advanced database application and advanced databases. Advanced database. Here the advanced database application, there are different type of subheadings are there. The first one, object oriented databases, then object relational databases, object relational. The third one, spatial databases, spatial database. Then the next one, temporal and time series databases, temporal and time series. Then the text and multimedia database. The next one, heterogeneous databases, heterogeneous database. Okay, these are the kinds of store. Okay, what kinds of different data store that the data mining can be performed. Okay, the first one is the relational databases, then the data warehouses, transactional databases, advanced database application and the advanced databases. Here, what are the different subheading of the advanced database application and advanced databases? Object oriented databases, object relational databases, spatial databases, temporal databases, time series databases, text multimedia databases. The last one is the heterogeneous databases. Okay, the first one, what do you mean by relational databases? Okay, the relational database means it's a collection of table. Okay, it is a collection of table, each of which is assigned the different name. Okay, each collection of table, each of which assign the different name. The table can be used to represent the relationship between or among the multiple tables. Okay, how we are going to access the relational databases? That is the structured query language. Okay, the relational databases can be accessed by the structured query language. In the same, the data mining queries can be accessed by the data mining query language. Okay, the first data store, okay, that can the data mining can be performed. Okay, the first one is the relational databases. Okay, the relational, what do you mean relational databases? It is a collection of table, each of which is assigned, okay, the unique name. Okay, that is a collection of table, each of which is assigned the unique name. For example, the customer, item, or the example for the relational databases. Okay, the collection of table, each of which is assigned the unique name. The next one, okay, the data warehouses. Okay, the data warehouses can be modeled by the multi-dimensional database structure. Okay, it is called as the multi-dimensional database structure. Okay, it is called as the multi-dimensional database structure. It is a multi-dimensional database structure. Okay, these are the different dimensions. Okay, these are the different dimensions. For example, time, item, or the different dimension. Okay, each and every cell stores the different values. Okay, each and every cell stores the different value. Okay, that is called as the data warehouses. Okay, but what do you mean data warehouses? Okay, the data warehouses are purely it can be purely modeled by the multi-dimensional database structure. Okay, the multi-dimensional database structure, for example, we are having the multi-dimensional database structure are having the different dimension. Okay, each and every cell stores the different values. Okay, the next one, the transactional databases. Okay, the transactional databases, okay, it represents, okay, it consists of a file. It consists of a file where each file represents it consists of a file where each record represents a transaction. Okay, each transaction represents the transaction ID and the list of items. Transaction ID, here the list of items. Okay, the transactional databases, okay, the transaction databases consist of a record where consist of a file where each record represents a transaction. Each transaction represents a transaction ID and the list of transaction. Okay, the next one, the object oriented databases. Okay, it is purely based on, okay, the object oriented programming paradigm. Okay, for example, we are going to for example, the all electronic the international company here. What are the different object of the all electronic company? The customer, individual employee is one of the object, and also the customer is one of the object, then item is one of the object. Okay, these are the different object. So the object oriented databases is purely based on the object oriented paradigm. Okay, object oriented paradigm, what do you mean object oriented paradigm? Okay, each and every entity is considered as an object. Okay, for example, okay, we are going to take the all electronic, that is an international company. What are the different objects of the all electronic international company? That is the individual employee, the customer, item, or the different objects of the all electronic, that is the international company. Okay, each and every object has the set of messages and the set of methods and also the set of variables. Okay, that is called as the object oriented databases. Okay, but what do you mean by object oriented databases? The object oriented databases, okay, it is purely based on the object oriented paradigm. Okay, the object oriented paradigm. Then, okay, what do you mean by object oriented paradigm? Each and every entity is represented as an object. For example, the international company, that is the all electronic, that is the international company. Here, what are the different object of the all electronics company? That is the individual employee, customer, item, or the different object of the, that is the individual, the different object of the particular all electronic company. Here, each and every object has the set of messages, set of variables, and set of methods. Then the next one, the object relational databases. Object relational databases, just, okay, we are going to combine the object oriented databases with the relational data. Okay, we are going to combine the object oriented databases with the relational data. Okay, that is called as the object relational databases. Okay, the next one, the spatial databases. Okay, the spatial data, spatial related information. Okay, what do you mean spatial related? Geographic data is the example for the spatial databases. Then the temporal and the time series databases. What do you mean by temporal databases? Okay, the time related attributes. What do you mean by time related attributes? What do you mean time related attribute? For example, when is the best time to purchase the all electronic store? Okay, that is the example for the temporal attribute. Then the time series. Okay, the time series, okay, it changes with the time. Okay, for example, the data related to the stock exchange is the example for the time series databases. Then the next the text databases. Okay, what do you mean text databases? For example, okay, the product specification, error report are the example for the text databases. That is the word description for the particular object. Okay, that is called as the text databases. For example, the product or the specification, then okay, the error report are the example for the text databases. Then what do you mean by multimedia databases? That the video and audio images for the example for the multimedia. It stores the visual and audio images. Okay, the last one is the heterogeneous databases. That is the we are going to combine the different databases. Okay, it can be either the relational databases or the transactional databases or the data warehouses or the advanced database application and the advanced databases. Okay, these are the different kinds of store that the data mining can be performed. Okay, that the relational databases, data warehouses. Okay, the data warehouses can be performed, or the data warehouse can be modeled by the multi-dimensional database structure. The next one is the transactional databases. Okay, the transaction databases consist of a file where each record represents a transaction. Okay, each and every file consists of the different record where each record represents a transaction. Okay, each and every transaction represents the transaction ID and also the list of items. Okay, the next one is advanced database application, that is the object oriented databases. Okay, the object oriented databases is purely based on the object oriented paradigm. The object relational databases, we are going to combine the object oriented databases with the relational databases, is called as the object relational. Then the spatial databases, that is called as spatial related information. Okay, the geographic images are the example for the spatial databases. Then the temporal and time series databases. Okay, the temporal, the time related attribute. What do you mean by time related attribute? When is the best time to purchase the all electronic company? Okay, that is the temporal. Time series, that the data related to the stock exchange, okay, is the example for the time series. Text databases, that is the word description for the particular object. For example, okay, the specification of the particular product or the error report of the particular product are the example for, okay, the text databases. Then the multimedia databases, that is called as the video and audio images. The heterogeneous databases, the last one, the heterogeneous databases. Here we are going to combine the different databases. Okay, either we are going to combine the relational databases with the data warehouses, or the relational databases with the transactional databases, or the data warehouses with the object oriented databases. Okay, these are the different kinds of store, these are the different kinds of store that the data mining can be performed. Okay, the next one, the data mining functionalities. What do you mean data mining functionalities? What kinds of pattern we are going to perform? Okay, what kinds of pattern we are going to perform, that is called as the data mining functionalities. Okay, the first data mining functionality is the first one, that is the characterization, the data mining functionalities. The data mining functionalities. The first one, characterization and or discrimination. The next one, association analysis. The third one, cluster analysis. The fourth one, outlier analysis. The last one, evolution or the deviation analysis. Okay, these are the different data mining functionalities. Okay, before we are going to start, what do you mean by the class or the concept description? Okay, each and every data can be associated with the classes. Okay, for example, okay, in all electronic we are going to take the international company, that is the all electronic. Here, okay, what are the classes of the customer? The classes of item, that is computer and printer. Then the concept of the customer. What is the concept of the customer? Big spender and the budget spenders. Okay, before we are going to start the characterization or the discrimination, first each and every data can be associated with the class. Okay, each and every data can be associated with the class or the concept. For example, the all electronic international company, what are the different classes of item? What are the different classes of item for the sales? The computer and the printer. Here, what are the different concept of the customer? Okay, either it may be the big spender or the budget spender. Okay, these description are called as these two description are called as the class or the concept description. Okay, the class or based on the class or the concept description, okay, it can be derived via the characterization or discrimination, or both the characterization and the discrimination. Okay, but the class, each and every data can be associated with the class and concept, the classes and concept. Okay, these classes and these description are combinedly called as the class or the concept description. The class or the concept description can be described via number one, characterization. The second one is the discrimination. The last one, both the characterization and the discrimination. Okay, here the characterization. What do you mean by characterization? Okay, we are going to the summary of the general characteristics of the data. Okay, the summary of the general characteristics of the data, or it can be called as the target class. Okay, it can be called as the target class. What do you mean by discrimination? Discrimination, we are going to comparing the target class with one or more comparative classes. We are going to compare the target class with the one or more comparative classes is called as the discrimination. So, what do you mean by characterization? Okay, the summary of the general characteristics are, it is a summary of the target class of the data. Okay, the target class of the data, that is called as the characterization. The next one is the discrimination. Okay, the discrimination, we are going to compare the target class with one or more comparative classes. Then the next one is the association analysis. Here association analysis, okay, association analysis is called as the discovery of association rule. Okay, what do you mean discovery of association rule? That is X tends to Y. What do you mean X tends to Y? The database tuple that satisfy the condition in X are also likely to satisfy the condition in Y. Okay, that the discovery of association rule is called as the association analysis. Okay, what do you mean by association analysis? That the discovery of association rule, that is the X tends to Y. What do you mean by X tends to Y? The database tuple that satisfy the condition in X are also likely to satisfy the condition in Y. Here, but there are two type of association rules are there. The first one is the single association rule. The second is the multi-dimensional association rule. Multi-dimensional association rule. Multi-dimensional association rule. Okay, what do you mean by single association rule? The association rule that contain only one predicate. Okay, for example, the association rule that contain only one predicate, that is buys X computer buys X comma printer. Okay, what is the meaning of this association rule? Printer. Okay, if a person buys computer, he also likely to buy the printer. Okay, that is the single association. Okay, what do you mean by predicate? The buys is called as the predicate. Okay, the association rule that contain only one predicate is called as the single association rule. The association rule that contain more than one predicate is called as the multi-dimensional association rule. For the example, for the multi-dimensional association rule, age, that is X, with 35 to 38, with the income X, that is 40k to 45k, 40k to 45k, buys computer. Okay, this is called as the multi-dimensional association rule. Okay, what do you mean by association rule? The association rule is a discovery of association. The association analysis is the discovery of association rule, that is X tends to Y. The database tuple that satisfy the condition in X are also likely to satisfy the condition in Y is called as the association rule. Here, what are the two type of association rule? Single association rule, multi-dimensional association rule. What do you mean by single association rule? The association rule that contain only one predicate, that is buys. Okay, what is the X? X is a values representing, okay, X is a value that is representing a customer. If a person buys computer, he also buys printer. What do you mean multi-dimensional association rule? The association rule that contain more than one predicate, that is called as the predicate, means age is one of the predicate, income is one of the predicate, buys is a one of predicate. Okay, X is a value representing the customer with the age 35 to 38, with the income 40k to 45k, he buys computer. Okay, this is the association rule. Okay, based on the association rule, we are going to calculate the support and confidence. Okay, what do you mean by support? The support means the number of transactions that contain both X and Y divided by the total number of transactions. What do you mean confidence? Okay, the number of transactions that contain both A and B divided by the total number of transactions. Then confidence, how to calculate the confidence? The number of transactions that contain both X and Y divided by the number of transactions that contain only in only in X into 100. Okay, based on support and confidence, okay, we are going to calculate the buying habit of the particular customer. Okay, this is the association analysis. Okay, the next one, that is called as the cluster analysis. What do you mean cluster analysis? The similar object. Okay, our cluster analysis, okay, that is the Okay, the similar objects. Okay, the similar object are grouped together based on some interestingness measure. Okay, the cluster analysis, what is a cluster? Okay, we are going to, the similar object are grouped together based on some interestingness measure. Okay, that is the cluster analysis. What do you mean by outlier analysis? Okay, the data that fall the outside of a cluster. Okay, these are the outliers. Okay, the data that fall the outside of a cluster is called as the outlier. Okay, the outlier, the analysis of the outlier data is called as the outlier analysis. The last one is the evolution analysis. What do you mean evolution analysis? Okay, we are going to find the regularities. Okay, what are the regularities and trend for the particular data? Okay, we are going to analyze the particular trends for, okay, the trends for the particular data can be analyzed by the evolution analysis. Okay, these are the different data mining functionalities. First one is the class or the concept description. Okay, the class or the concept description can be described via, the first one is the characterization, discrimination, or both the characterization and the discrimination. Okay, what do you mean characterization? We are going to the summary of the target class of the data. Okay, or the summary of the general characteristics of the data. Then discrimination, we are going to compare the target class with one or more comparative classes. Then association analysis, that is X tends to Y. Then what do you cluster analysis? The cluster analysis means the similar object are grouped together based on some interestingness measure. Okay, that is the cluster analysis. Outlier analysis, the data that fall the outside of the cluster is called as the outlier. The analysis of the outlier data is called as the outlier analysis. The last one is the evolution analysis. Okay, the evolution analysis, we are going to find the trend or the similarity, okay, for the particular data that can be analyzed based on the evolution analysis. Okay, the next one, the data mining classification. Okay, the classification of data mining. Okay, the classification of the data mining, the first one, the classification according to the kinds of database mined, then the classification according to the kinds of knowledge mined, the classification according to the technique analyzed, okay, the classification according to the, okay, application adapted. Okay, these are the different classification of data mining. The classification of data mining, the first one, the classification according to the kinds of database mined. Here there are two type of the classification according to the kinds of database mined. Okay, the first one, the classification according to the kinds of data model. Then the second one, the classification according to the data model special type of data. Special type of data. Okay, the first classification, the classification according to the kinds of database mined. The first one, the classification according to the data model. Okay, what do you mean by data model? The classification according to the relational databases or the transactional databases or the data warehouses are example for the data model. But the special type of data, the special type of data may be the spatial databases, text databases, multimedia databases, temporal databases, time series databases, heterogeneous databases, text multimedia databases. These are the special type of data. Okay, first we are going to classify based on the data model. Okay, the classified based on the data model means either it can be the transactional databases or the relational databases or, okay, the data warehouses. Then the next one, the special type of data means either it can be the spatial databases or, okay, the time series databases, text databases, temporal databases, heterogeneous databases are the example for the special type of data. The next one, the classification according to the kinds of knowledge mined. The classification according to the kinds of knowledge mined. That is, okay, what do you mean by the classification according to the kinds of knowledge mined? Okay, it is purely based on the data mining functionalities. Okay, the classification is purely based on the data mining functionalities. What are the different data mining functionalities? Characterization, discrimination, association analysis, trust analysis, outlier analysis, deviation analysis, or the evolution analysis. That is, okay, but the classification according to the kinds of knowledge mined, it is purely based on the data mining functionalities. It is based on the data mining functionalities. Okay, based on the data mining functionalities, we are going to classify the kinds of knowledge mined. Then the next one, the classification according to the technique utilized. Okay, what techniques are utilized based on the classification. Okay, the classification according to the kinds of technique utilized. Classification according to the technique utilized. Based on the technique, we are going to classify the data. What are the different technique? The pattern evaluation. Okay, based on the pattern evaluation and the neural network, okay, we are going to classify the data mining. Okay, the classification of data mining, it is purely based on the pattern evaluation. Okay, the technique utilized means what technique we are going to use, what technique used for classifying the particular data mining. Okay, the pattern evaluation and the neural network are the example for the classification according to the technique utilized. The last one, the classification according to the application adapted. Application adapted. Okay, the data mining system, okay, specifically use. Okay, the specifically use the purchasing. Okay, the telecommunication. Okay, email or the example for the classification. Okay, the data mining system. Okay, can be specifically used the particular concept. Okay, the concept are either okay the email or the World Wide Web or okay the stock exchange or the example for the classification according to the application adapted. Okay, these are the different classification of data mining. Okay, what are the different classification of data mining? The classification according to the kinds of database mine, the classification according to the kinds of knowledge mine, the classification according to the technique utilized, the last one the classification according to the application adapted. Okay, the classification according to the kinds of database mine can be subdivided into the classification according to the okay data model. The next one is the special type of data. Data model means either it can be the transactional databases or the relational databases or the data warehouses. Then the special type of data means, what do you mean special type of data? That is okay, it may be either the spatial databases, text databases or the time series databases or the example for the special type of data. The next one, the classification according to the kinds of knowledge mine. Okay, the classification according to the kinds of knowledge mine can be purely based on the data mining functionalities. Okay, what are the different data mining functionalities? We already discussed about the data mining functionalities: characterization, discrimination, association analysis, then cluster analysis, outlier analysis, and also the deviation analysis. The last one, the classification according to the kinds of technique utilized. Okay, what technique we are going to use to classify the data mining? That is the pattern recognition is the one of the technique, and the neural network is the one of the technique for classifying the data according to the kinds of technique utilized. The last one, the classification according to the application adapted. What application? Okay, the data mining system are specifically used. Okay, the data mining system specifically use the telecommunication, then email and the stock exchange or the example for the classification according to the application adapted. The next one, data pre-processing. Okay, before what do you mean by data mining? Here we are going to in the data mining we are going to mine or extracting the knowledge from a large amount of data. Either it can be stored in the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository. We are going to mine the data. We are going to pre-process the data. Okay, the pre-processing. Okay, here the pre-processing. There are different steps in pre-processing: the data cleaning, the data integration, okay, then the data transformation. The last one is the discretization and the concept hierarchy. Okay, first, why we go for the data pre-processing? Okay, the data pre-processing, first the data in the real world, okay, is dirty. Okay, what do you mean dirty? That is called as the incomplete data. Okay, the data may be incomplete, or the data may be noisy, or the data may be inconsistent. Okay, here we are in the pre-processing, we are going to remove the noisy, inconsistent and the incomplete data. Okay, that's why we go for the data pre-processing. What is incomplete data? That is, for example, okay, the lacking the attribute value. Okay, what do you mean lacking the attribute value? The occupation is equal to within the double quotation. Okay, there is no, for example, okay, the occupation may be it include either it may be we have to include the occupation of the particular customer. Either it may be the lecturer or the assistant professor or the associate professor. Then, okay, we are going to remove the incomplete data. What do you mean noisy data? Okay, the noisy data means it contain the errors or the outlier. Okay, for example, the salary is equal to -10. Okay, is it correct? It is wrong. Okay, the salary is equal to it should be included in the positive value. Okay, but it included in the outlier or it contains the error. The last one, okay, we have to remove the noisy data. the last one inconsistent data. Okay, it containing the discrepancy in code. For example, okay, first we have to first we are going to use the age is equal to some places we are using age is equal to 42, some places we are using the birthday is equal to 3/7/1997. Okay, it should be confused. So okay, the data pre-processing, okay, why we go for the data pre-processing? Okay, the data in the real world is dirty, that is the incomplete data, noisy data and the inconsistent data. Okay, the incomplete, we are going to remove the incomplete data, noisy data and inconsistent data. Okay, so where the incomplete data may come from and where the noisy data may come from, or where the inconsistent data may come from, okay, it may be the different consideration. Okay, the different consideration between the time when the data was collected. Okay, each and every time, okay, when the data is collected, okay, we are giving the incomplete data. Okay, the different consideration between the time when the data was collected. The next one, the human problem. Okay, the human problem, that is also the incomplete data. Then the same, the noisy data may come from the faulty data collection instrument, or the human error, or the error in the data transformation. Then the inconsistent data. Okay, the inconsistent data means, suppose what do you mean by data mining? Okay, we are going to extracting the knowledge. Okay, we are going to extracting the knowledge. What are the steps in data mining? Data cleaning, data selection, data integration. What do you mean data integration? We are going to combine the data from the different sources. Okay, so the inconsistent may come from the different data sources and the functional dependency violation. Okay, the different data sources. Okay, why we go for the data pre-processing? That is the incomplete data. Okay, the noisy data, inconsistent data. Okay, the data in the real world is dirty. That is, the data may be the incomplete, the noisy and inconsistent data. We are going to remove, or okay, we are going to remove the incomplete data, noisy data and inconsistent data. We go for the data pre-processing. Okay, why the data pre-processing is important? Okay, there is no quality data, there is no quality mining result. So we are going to, the quality decision should be purely based on the quality data. Okay, the quality data means we are going to duplicate. Okay, we are going to remove. Okay, we are going to remove the noisy data, inconsistent data and the incomplete data. So why the data pre-processing is important? Okay, there is no quality data means there is no data mining results, no quality mining result. Okay, that's why we go for the data pre-processing. These are the major task in data pre-processing, that the data cleaning, the data integration, data transformation, data reduction. Okay, here the data cleaning, we are going to remove the noisy and inconsistent data. Okay, or we are going to fill the missing value, then we are going to smooth the noisy data. Okay, suppose we are going to find the noisy data, we are going to smooth the noisy data, then we are going to identify the outlier. Then what do you mean integration? The data from multiple sources may be combined in the data integration. Okay, the data reduction, okay, we are going to reduce the volume, but it produces the same result. That is very, very important. But okay, the data discretization, it is also the part of data reduction, but it is only for the numerical data. Okay, these are the major tasks in data pre-processing. Here we are going to fill the missing value and also smooth the outliers. Then data integration, different data sources may be combined. Then the data transformation. Okay, we are going to transform into different forms, one form into another form for the purpose of aggregating function. The data reduction, okay, we are going to reduce in volume, but it produces the same result. Okay, these are the different forms of data pre-processing, that the data cleaning, the data integration, data reduction, the last one is the data discretization. Okay, the next one, the data cleaning. Okay, the data cleaning, okay, we are going to, what is data cleaning? We are going to remove the noisy and inconsistent data, that is filling the missing value. Then we are going to identify the outlier and also smooth out the noisy data, then correct the inconsistent data. Okay, but the data pre-processing, okay, we are going to clean the noisy data, inconsistent data and incomplete data. Okay, what are the tasks of the data cleaning? We are going to fill in the missing value, then identify the outlier, then correct the inconsistent data. Okay, then the missing data. Okay, the missing data, okay, we already discussed that missing data may be due to the equipment malfunction. Okay, the equipment problem, okay, the missing data will occur. The inconsistent data, okay, the inconsistent with other recorded data, then the data not entered due to misunderstanding. Okay, these are the missing data. Okay, the missing data may need to be inferred. Okay, then how to handle the missing data? Okay, first the missing data, simply we are going to ignore the tuple. Okay, we are going to ignore the missing value. Okay, the first one is we are going to ignore the tuple. then we are going to filling the missing value with manually, then filling the missing value with automatically based on some global constant or particular, we are going to take some global constant, then we are going to fill the missing value. Okay, these are the different method for handling the missing data. First, simply we are going to ignore the tuple or filling the missing value with manually, okay, or filling the missing value automatically with the global constant or the mean value. Okay, we are going to find the mean value. Based on the mean value, we are going to fill in the missing value. Okay, we are going to fill in it automatically with the either the global constant or the attribute mean or the attribute mean for all samples. Okay, about how to handle the missing data? First, we are going to ignore the tuple, then filling the missing value, filling the missing value automatically, then filling the missing value manually. Okay, manually we are going to fill or automatically based on some global constant or the attribute mean or the attribute mean for all samples belonging to the same class. Okay, then how the noisy data? Okay, the noisy data may come from the faulty data collection instrument, the data entry problem, the technology limitation, or okay, these are the noisy data may come from the faulty data collection requirement, okay, or the faulty data collection instrument. Okay, okay, we are going to fill the faulty data collection, or we are going to collect the faulty data, okay, based on the instruments. Then the data entry problem or the example for the noisy data may come from. Okay, then how to handle the noisy data? Okay, these are the different method for handling the noisy data: the binning, regression, clustering. Then the last one is the combined computer and human inspection. Okay, it is the purpose of dealing with the possible outlier. Okay, first one, the binning. Okay, the binning, first we are going to sorting the data. Okay, for example, okay, sorting the data for price. Okay, we are going to sorting the data 4, 8 based on ascending or the descending order: 4, 8, 9, 15, 21, 21, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 34. Then okay, the next one we are going to partition into equal intervals. First we are going to sorting the data. Okay, first we are going to sorting the data, then we are going to sorting the data into equal intervals. Then one can smooth by bin mean, smooth by bin median, and smooth by bin boundaries. Okay, what do you mean by smooth by bin mean? First we are going to partition into the first sorted data, then we are going to partition into equal interval or equi depth interval. Okay, equal interval. For example, okay, there are okay 4, 8, 12 sorted data are there. We are going to partition the equal intervals. That the 4, 4 data we are going to partition the equal interval. For example, the bin 1, 4, 8, 9, 15, 4, 8, 9, 15. The second bin 2, 21, 21, 24, 25. The third bin 3, okay, then 26, 28, 29, 34. Okay, first we are going to sorting the data, then partition into the equal interval. What do you mean by smoothing with bin mean? Each value in a bin. Okay, each value in a bin is replaced by the mean value of the bin. How to calculate the mean value of this particular bin 1? 4 plus 8 plus 9 plus 15 divided by 4. Okay, what the mean value of the bin 1? That is called as the 9. Okay, each value in a bin is replaced by the mean value of the bin 1. Okay, what is the mean value of the bin 1? 9, 9, 9, 9. The mean value of bin 2, 23, 23, 23, 23. The mean value of the bin 3, 29, 29, 29, 29. Okay, there is called as the smoothing by bin mean. Okay, what do you mean by smoothing by bin median? Each value in the bin is replaced by the median value of the bin, is called as the bin median. The next one, smoothing by bin boundaries. Here, okay, we are going to analyze, or we are going to calculate what is the minimum value and the maximum value. Okay, then each value in a bin is replaced by the closest boundary value. Either the closest boundary value means, okay, either it may be the minimum value or the maximum value. For example, the bin 1, 4. Okay, what is the closest boundary value? What is the minimum value here? The bin 1, the minimum value is 4, the maximum value is 15. Okay, here for the first we are going to take the first data, that is 4. Okay, what is the minimum value? Okay, 4. Okay, but each value in a bin is replaced by, okay, the closest boundary value. Okay, what is the closest boundary value of 4? 4. What is the closest boundary value of 4? That is closest boundary value of 8 is minimum value 4. What is the difference between 8 and 4 is 5, 8 and 15 is 7. So the closest boundary we are going to replace 8 by 4. Then the next one, 9. Okay, what is the closest boundary value? Again 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 15 is 6. Okay, we are going to replace the bin value by the closest boundary value. Okay, that is the smoothing by bin boundaries. Okay, first we have to binning method. We are going to sorting the data. Then we are going to partition the data into equal intervals. Then one can smooth by bin mean, bin median and bin boundaries. Okay, what do you mean smooth by bin mean? Each value in a bin is replaced by the mean value of the bin. Okay, each value in a bin is replaced by the median value of bin is called as the smoothing by bin median. And what do you mean smoothing by bin boundaries? Each value in a bin is replaced by the closest boundary value. Okay, either the minimum value or the maximum value. Okay, the next one is the regression. Okay, the single line. Okay, the line, okay, that fit for the two variables. Okay, for example, okay, this is the line fit for the two variables, that is y is equal to x plus 1. Okay, the line, okay, the straight line that fit for the two variables is called as the regression or the linear regression. Okay, the first one is the binning, the regression, then the clustering. Okay, the clustering, what do you mean by clustering? The similar object are grouped together. Okay, the similar object are grouped together is called as the clustering. Okay, then how to detect and remove the outlier? The data that fall the outside of the cluster is called as the outlier. Okay, the analysis of the outlier data is called as the outlier analysis. Okay, these are the binning method. Okay, regression, then cluster analysis. Okay, the last one is the combined computer and interaction. Okay, the next one, the data integration. What do you mean data integration? We are going to combine the data from the multiple sources. Okay, so we are going to combine the data from the multiple sources. Okay, the redundant attribute may be applied. Okay, sorry, the redundant, suppose we are going to combine the multiple data sources. Okay, the redundant attribute may be detected. Okay, the redundant attribute may be detected by the correlation analysis. Okay, what is the formula for the correlation coefficient? That is, the correlation coefficient is R A comma B is equal to sigma A minus A bar. Okay, what do you mean A bar? Okay, the mean of A. B bar is the mean of B. Then N minus number of tuple. Then sigma A into sigma B. Okay, then the standard deviation. It is called as the standard deviation of A and the standard deviation of B. Okay, that is called as the correlation coefficient. Okay, but what do you mean by data integration? Data integration we are going to collect the data from the multiple sources. Either it can be stored in the databases or the data warehouses or other information repository. Based on the combining data, the redundant attribute may be detected. Okay, the redundant attribute may be detected by the correlation analysis. Okay, this is the formula for the correlation analysis. Okay, if R A comma B is greater than 0 means A and B are positively correlated. Okay, A and B, that is A's value is increased. Okay, the A's value increases as B's. If R A comma B is less than 0 means it is negatively correlated. R A comma B is equal to 0 means that is the particular, okay, A and B, the data A and B are the independent. Okay, this is the correlation analysis. Okay, we are going to integrate the multiple data sources. Okay, we are going to integrate the multiple data sources means the redundant attribute may be detected. Okay, we are going to combine the different sources. Okay, the redundant attribute may be occurred. Okay, the redundant attribute may be detected by the correlation analysis. Okay, the formula for the correlation coefficient, okay, R A comma B. If R A comma B is greater than 0 means it is positively correlated. R A comma B is less than 0 means negatively correlated. R A comma B is equal to 0 means the particular data are independent. Okay, the next one, the data discretization. Okay, what is the difference between the data discretization? We are going to partition the data into different interval is called as the discretization. But the concept hierarchy, we are going to replacing the lower level concept with the higher level value. Okay, what do you mean lower level concept means? The age. Okay, the age can be replaced by, okay, the higher level concept, that is the young, middle aged or senior. Okay, the age may be, that is the difference between the discretization and the concept hierarchy. Okay, here the discretization and concept hierarchy, we are going to divide the range into intervals. Okay, they reduce the number of values. Okay, by dividing the range of the attribute, they are going to dividing the range of the attribute into intervals is called as the discretization. But concept hierarchy, okay, we are going to replacing the lower level value by the higher level concept. Okay, the age can be replaced by young, or the age can be replaced by middle age, or the age can be replaced by senior. Okay, this is the different method for the discretization. Okay, the first one, the entropy based discretization. Okay, the entropy based discretization for a given set of sample S, we are going to partition the range into, we are going to partition the different range into intervals, that is called as the S1 and S2. Okay, using the boundary T. Okay, we are going to calculate the information gain, okay, after the partitioning. This is the formula for the information gain after the partition, that is the I of S comma T. Okay, the T is the boundary, S is the sample, is equal to S1 divided by S entropy of S1 plus S2 divided by S entropy of S2. Okay, what do you mean by, okay, entropy of S1 minus sigma I equal to 1 to m Pi. Okay, the probability of, okay, the probability of class I in Si. Okay, this is the one of the discretization. Okay, but discretization means we are going to reduce, okay, we are going to reduce the sample into different intervals. We are going to reduce, or we are going to divide the range of the attribute into intervals. That is the first concept, that the entropy based discretization. Okay, we are going to calculate the information gain after the partitioning, that the set of sample S. Okay, S is partitioned into two sample, that is S1, S2. Okay, using the boundary condition T. Then the information gain after partitioning, then we are going to calculate the entropy. Okay, the entropy of S1 is equal to minus sigma I equal to 1 to m Pi log to Pi. Okay, what do you mean by Pi? The probability of I. Okay, the probability of class I in the particular S1. Okay, that is the entropy. Then the next one, the segmentation by natural partitioning. Here they are going to use 3, 4, 5 rules. Okay, what do you mean by 3, 4, 5 rules? It's very, very important. If an interval cover 3, 6, 7 or 9 distinct value at the most significant digit, we are going to partition the range into 3 equid. What do you mean equid? Means 3 equal intervals. Okay, then the interval cover 2, 4 or 8 distinct value at the most significant digit, we are going to divide the range into 4 equid interval. If the interval cover 1, 5 or 10 equid interval, or the 10 distinct value at the most significant digit, we are going to partition the range into 5 interval. Okay, this is the one of the concept of that is the segmentation by natural partitioning. What do you mean 3, 4, 5 rule? If an interval cover 3, 6, 7 or 9 distinct value at the most significant digit, okay, we are going to partition the range into 3 equid interval. Okay, if an interval cover 2, 4 or 8 distinct value at the most significant digit, okay, we are going to partition the range into 4 equid interval. Okay, if an interval covers 1, 5 or 10 distinct value at the most significant digit, we are going to partition the range into 5 interval. Okay, the data discretization, what are the two type of data discretization? Entropy based discretization, then the segmentation by the natural partitioning. Then the last one is the concept hierarchy. Okay, the concept hierarchy. Okay, what do you mean concept hierarchy generation? Okay, the specification of the total or the partial ordering of attribute. Okay, the country can be replaced by state. Okay, the lower level concept can be replaced by the higher level value. The country can be replaced by state, the state can be replaced by city, the city can be replaced by street. Okay, the second one, the specification of a hierarchy for a set of values by the explicit data grouping. Okay, the higher level value, that is Illinois, the Illinois includes the Urbana, Campaign and Chicago. Okay, the first one, the specification of the partial or the total ordering of attributes. Then the specification of hierarchy. Okay, the Illinois include the Urbana, Campaign and Chicago. The next one, the specification of only the partial ordering of attribute. The city only can be replaced by city. Okay, the lower level concept or the lower level value city can be only replaced by state. The last one, automatic generation of hierarchy. Okay, this is called as the automatic hierarchy generation. Okay, some hierarchy can be automatically generated based on, okay, the number of distinct value per attribute in the data set. For example, the attribute that most distinct value. Here our example, what is the attribute with the most significant, most distinct value? The street have the 6, 7, 4, 3, 3, 9 distinct value. So the attribute with the most distinct value, it placed at the lowest level of hierarchy. Okay, that is called as the automatic concept hierarchy generation. Okay, what do you mean by automatic concept hierarchy generation? Some hierarchy can be automatically generally based on, okay, the analysis of the number of distinct value at the attribute per attribute in the data set. Okay, the sum hierarchy can be automatically generated based on the number of distinct value per attribute in the data set. Okay, for example, the attribute with the most distinct value is placed in, okay, the lowest level of the hierarchy. For the exception, weekday, month, quarter and year. Okay, there are 15 distinct value in the country. The state 365 states, city 3567 distinct value, the last one 674339. Okay, that is called as the automatic concept hierarchy. The attribute with the most distinct value is placed at the lowest level of the hierarchy.